Today I learned that LBJ did not become a rancher until he was 43, but was quite successful. He left his ranch to the American people as a historical site, providing it was maintained as a working ranch and not a sterile relic of the past. To this day the National Park Service breeds Hereford cattle there. Today I learned that Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day is about lead singer Billy Joe Armstrong's father dying of esophageal cancer on September 1st, 1982, when Billy was 10 years old. Today I learned in the 1930s Bob Wine had a cushy job managing a restaurant, but felt he didn't know the business fully. So he quit, got jobs as a dishwasher, fry cook, and then counter help. With that experience he started Bob's Big Boy, invented the double-decker burger, and became hugely successful. Today I learned Johns Hopkins University professor proposed to do away with time zones completely and put the entire world on Universal Time, UTC. Under this system, when it's 9 o'clock in one place, it's 9 o'clock everywhere on the plane. Today I learned fairy rings, that is, mushrooms growing in a circle, are an actual natural occurrence, caused by mushroom mycelia growing out from the center and exhausting nutrients on the inside of the circle. Today I learned that Carrie Chapman Catt, the women's suffrage leader of the early 20th century, had a special clause in her 1890 wedding prenuptials. It guaranteed her 4 months of free time every year, so she could campaign to get women the vote in the US. Today I learned ant queens can take over other colonies by murdering their real queen and bathing in her bodily fluids to avoid detection. Since ants can only parasitize other specific species, it is speculated that some ants decorate their homes with the heads of other ant species to mask their own scent. Today I learned that a 155-year-old Victorian mousetrap caught a mouse in 2016 in a museum after it snuck in. The creator, Colin Pullinger, said this invention would last a lifetime when he created it in the mid-1800s. Today I learned in 1960, debris from a failed American launch fell on Cuba, killing one cow. Many Cubans demonstrated, with banners on cows reading "The Yankees are killing us without mercy and Eisenhower, you murdered one of my sisters." Cuba received $2 million compensation, and the cow had a state funeral. Today I learned there are no legal ways to be buried in Longyearbyen, Norway. In 1950 they discovered bodies of residents from the 1918 flu pandemic which had not begun to decompose in the cold. Scientists fear the corpses, preserved in permafrost, could still contain live strains of the virus. Today I learned in 1985, a man flew from London to LA on Air New Zealand, meaning to connect to a flight to Auckland. At LA, he boarded the onwards flight to Auckland. When asked if he's going to Auckland, the NZ pronunciation sounded like Oakland, so he stayed on board, only realizing his mistake after taking off. Today I learned the scenes of Kazakhstan in Borat were shot in Glod, a tiny village in Romania. All the extras are villagers of Glod who got paid to be in the film and were told it was a documentary. They felt insulted by their portrayal, tried to sue the producers, and threatened to kill Borat for insulting them. Today I learned that the mere existence of other galaxies in the universe has only been known by humans for roughly 100 years. Before that it was believed that the Milky Way contained every star in the universe. Today I learned people who use heroin describe sensations of warmth and safety while they are high. When sleeping on the streets on a cold night, a hit of heroin can make it possible to relax and get some rest. Today I learned that the Chinese army has been training 10,000 pigeons to provide support to the military's communications in the event that war renders its modern technology unusable. The pigeons, flying at speeds of up to 75 miles, 120 kilometers, per hour are being trained to carry loads of up to 3.5 ounces, 100 g. Today I learned that giraffes have a blue tongue to protect them from sunburn because they graze on the tops of trees for up to 12 hours a day in the direct sunlight. Their tongue contains melanin, the same pigment responsible for tanning. Today I learned Freddie Mercury spent his last months recording as many vocals as he could for the rest of Queen to finish after his death. Today I learned fruit isn't always vegan. Many stores spray their fruit with shellac wax to preserve it, and shellac is derived from insects, making it non-vegan. Today I learned that the Swedish maker of Jeppson's mallet was free to sell the medicinal spirit in Chicago during Prohibition, since law enforcement concluded no one in their right mind would drink it recreationally. Today I learned an Indian man lost his mother as his village had no ambulance point, so he vowed that no one should die because of lack of transportation to any medical facility. Thereafter he converted his own bike into an ambulance to transfer poor villagers to nearby hospitals for free. Today I learned the creator of chiropractic medicine, D.D. Palmer, claims he received his knowledge from the spirit of a deceased physician named Jim Atkinson and believed chiropractic medicine was a moral obligation and a religious duty. Today I learned that the Office character Dwight Schrute didn't just speak the Dothraki language from Game of Thrones, he improved it, the writers correctly used its grammar, and invented a new construction. David J. Peterson, the language's creator, made it canon and named it the Schrutian compound. Today I learned cinnamon is made from the inner bark of laurel trees and used to be more valuable than gold. When people act like Frankenstein's monster, they often stretch their arms out in front of them because of the 1943 movie Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. In the movie the monster is blinded and has to walk holding his hands in front of him. Today I learned Bismarcky was not supposed to sing the chorus in his hit song Just a Friend, but none of the people he invited showed up at the studio, so he sang it himself. Today I learned over time diamond degrades to graphite as its atoms internally rearrange and relax to a lower energy state. However, at Earth's surface temperature, this process can take millions of years, which makes the phrase diamonds are forever a very good approximation to reality on a human timescale. Today I learned that Keanu Reeves almost renamed himself Chuck Spadina because some casting agents were resistant to having him come in for auditions because his first name was hard to pronounce and seemingly too exotic. Today I learned that the camera company, Fujifilm, also makes skincare products because the CEO predicted that sales for their film would decrease with the rise of digital cameras. Chemicals they discovered earlier to prevent color fading in photographs are used to prevent sagging and fading skin now. The first president of Mongolia, Iljidiyin Gendin, allegedly slapped and broke Stalin's pipe after Stalin pressured him to destroy Mongolia's Buddhist clergies. Today I learned a 56-year-old Russian woman suffered a seizure while feeding her pigs and was then eaten alive after falling into the pen. Her husband found her remains in the morning. Today I learned in several Chinese cities, there is a service called jam busting. Drivers in traffic jams who need to get somewhere urgently call for a couple of people to show up on a motorbike. One stays with your car, and the other puts you on the back of the bike and blasts off through and around the jam. Today I learned that major Pentagon officials once called 5 guys and requested them to break their no delivery rule. Not only did they refuse, the restaurant's founder ordered a 22-foot banner saying absolutely no delivery and hung it in front of the store. Business from Pentagon employees increased. Today I learned that in 2016, Yukon Territory ran an awareness campaign advocating for vitamin D with the slogan "We all need the D." Today I learned in 1924, a Chinese American named Ben Fee was refused service at a San Francisco restaurant. He returned the next day with 10 white friends who each ordered the most expensive dish. Fee was again refused service. He then confronted his friends. They walked out, leaving the food unpaid for. Today I learned in 1900 at a college football game in San Francisco, hundreds of people climbed on the roof of a glass factory to watch the game. When the roof collapsed, they were dumped into a hot glass furnace where 22 died and hundreds were injured. Today I learned the majority of the weight lost on a diet is exhaled as carbon dioxide. Today I learned a study found that an Andean condor can soar 100 miles without flapping its wings, staying airborne for up to 5 hours by surfing currents of rising air called thermals. It's the world's heaviest soaring bird at 33 pounds with a 10-foot wingspan. Today I learned that All Along the Watchtower was a Bob Dylan song. Dylan said he was so overwhelmed by the more famous Jimi Hendrix version that he started playing it that way. After Hendrix died, Dylan said playing the song felt like a tribute to Hendrix. In Japan, condemned prisoners are not told their date of execution and only informed on the morning of their execution. Today I learned that an elderly Rwandan woman saved the lives of over 100 Tutsis by hiding them in her home and scaring away Hutus by claiming her home was inhabited by ghosts. Today I learned a stretch of Route 66 between Albuquerque and Tijuras will play America the Beautiful as you drive over added grooves in the road. If you drive the speed limit of 45 miles per hour for the quarter-mile stretch, you can hear America the Beautiful play through the vibrations in your car's wheels. Today I learned Indians brought marijuana to Jamaica and introduced the word ganja to Rastafarians. German citizens in Ohrdruf were forced to view the inside of the Ohrdruf labor camp, the first concentration camp liberated, and bury the dead. A practice that was repeated at other camps. Today I learned that lobsters don't age the way other living creatures do. They don't lower their reproductive ability, slow their metabolism, or decrease in strength. Because of their molting process, it is difficult to determine their actual ages. They continue growing larger with each molt until they die. Today I learned about Horatio Nelson Jackson, who was the first person to drive across the continental United States, and he did it for a $50 bar bet. It took him just over 2 months, having to replace most of the parts on his car. When he got it to Vermont from SF, the drive chain snapped, pulling into the garage. Today I learned the 58-story Millennium Tower, the Leaning Tower of San Francisco, has sunk 18 inches with lean of 14 inches as of 2018. Residents have reported various creaking and popping sounds. Today I learned Western music was often bootlegged in the USSR using discarded X-rays. This was known as music on acoustics, or music on the bones. Today I learned in 1991 a diver discovered a 20-ton nugget of pure copper in Lake Superior. It took some 4 years of paperwork before it was pulled up in 2001. Today I learned that tanker trucks are built with baffles in the tank to discourage sloshing during and after braking. At highway speeds, this can reduce braking distance by more than 25 feet. Visualization. Today I learned in 2014, Pope Francis said he would baptize aliens if they asked. He did not want to close doors to green Martians with long noses and big ears. In 2010, a papal astronomer also said he would baptize aliens if they asked. He said any entity, no matter how many tentacles it has a soul. Today I learned the last duel fought in Canada was in 1873 over a woman. Upon turning and firing, one duelist fell to the ground. Both duelists unknowingly had blanks loaded in their guns by their seconds. The one man fell because he fainted with fear. Today I learned the song Hello Ma Baby was nearly 60 years old when sung by the cartoon frog. It's the oldest known song to mention the telephone, and the first about a man falling in love with a woman he never met via technology. Today I learned that until 1885, vodka in Russia was usually only sold in buckets of 12.3 liters, 13 quarts.
Bye.